Teen Zero is back, and we're on chapter 250. I predicted a while back when we started the final arc that this story would end around 300 chapters, give or take 20 chapters. So I'm glad it does seem to be less likely that 320 will be the most that the series has, but it's still possible to end around 320 chapters, so let's enjoy what we got. We start off where we left off with, Rebecca freaking out that Weiss is actually here and wondering why he's here. And his only response is, can you put some clothes on? So yeah, Weiss apparently matured a lot since he was young, because we're about to see a completely different reaction from young Weiss. So after giving Rebecca his coat, he then explains that he has been tracking Joker for a while now, but he didn't realize that this was a fake until he got up and close to it. But he does what Weiss does when he starts to examine the mechanical parts of it. That's when Bernie apparently appears out of nowhere, the bunny girl from 50 years ago. And she's still wearing that casino outfit, which means that wasn't a uniform for a bar. That was just what her species wears normally. They wear bunny girl outfits for casinos. That is a hell of a fashion statement to make, but alright. So then Rebecca asks a pretty obvious question, which is, how are you moving in a time stop? And apparently it was not time stop at all. The way Joker ability works is that it's able to condense reality to a point where everything is moving super slow. So while it is a time-based ability, it's not as powerful as stopping time directly. Also, there seems to be a limited range. So since she targeted the bathhouse, only the bathhouse was affected. With that being said, even though the body has been destroyed, I guessing because it's not the main body, time is still moving super slow in the bathhouse. So Weiss actually has to hack into the drone's body and then reset time. And there you go, everything starts moving as it should. Feather then starts freaking out because she's falling, but technically she's already fallen. And she just realized it now because time is, moving normally. Also, Homer noticed there's a hole in the wall, and she's super embarrassed. Rachel doesn't seem to be fazed by it at all. Weiss is super excited about the fact that now he can look into the women's bath. The fact that the man's chair just crawls into the women's bath through the hole in the wall. Like I said, his older self definitely matured at some point, because the current Weiss is Jesus. Unlike everyone else, Feather seems to be very professional. She's unfazed by the fact that the men can now see her nude. In fact, she stands completely up and starts activating her Eyes of Venus. First thing she does is she looks for Rebecca because she's completely missing, and she finds her with, of course, the old Weiss and, the bunny girl. Yeah, so even though Feather's being professional, Weiss, once again, is not, and he decides to crawl up underneath her so he can get a full view of her entire body. Feather looks at him with disgust, either that or confusion on the fact that there's two Weisses. It's unclear, but he doesn't seem to get punished for it. I guess she's still too professional at the moment to concern herself with Weiss being a creep. So we have a little time skip to where everyone is now introducing themselves to old Weiss. Happy's happy to see him. That's a weird way to phrase it. Rebecca's parents are thanking him for taking care of her when she was a child. And this thing I actually forgot, but old Weiss doesn't know young Weiss is in this universe. In the last universes, he was introduced to Weiss almost immediately after he left the planet. So seeing a younger version of himself is just an absolute surprise. Also, old Weiss has a hand still, not a robotic one, which means Drac and Joe didn't, cut it off. Which makes sense. Drac and Joe is different in this world. Then she finally gets to the point and asks, why is he hunting after one of Voight's minions? And then Weiss gives one of the most incriminating faces a man could ever give. So the theory that everyone had that he created Joker is completely true. He did, 100%. The thing about Lebelica apparently is not correct. But yes, he was the one who created Joker. Evan, of course, is shocked, except for young Weiss, who's pissed off at his future self for doing something so stupid. But then Weiss tries to explain that, no, I didn't intend on creating a warrior for the Edens One. Luckily for old man Weiss, that even though he can't properly seem to explain himself at this moment, Rebecca actually finally remembers where she heard the name Joker Helix from. And this whole time, it was a program to make video games. It was a simple game engine he created for the purposes of, making the games for Rebecca so she'd be entertained. But he also, for some reason, decided to give it an AI brain. And so as it interacted with the internet, it became self-aware. And by the time Weiss realized what had happened, it was too late. It had already spread itself across the internet. Now, here's the thing that I've always wondered why androids in this series, in fact, even the evil ones don't do this. Why don't they pull a Skynet, where they just put their brain into the internet, into the software, and then take over everything that they can? For some reason, so many androids like to put themselves into one body. Joker Helix is the first time we see someone decide to spread out their consciousness across multiple units. This just makes the most sense to do this, unless the android is afraid that its separated consciousness will create a mind of its own and then betray it. Obviously, that would be a great threat, but that's really the only logical reason I can think of why it wouldn't just spread itself out as much as possible. Either way, this means you have to defeat Joker's every version throughout who knows how many cosmoses exist. That's when everyone starts to ask, okay, so what is Joker after? Is she after the time ether that's within Rebecca, or is it after his mother's ether? And the answer is given real quick, because Joker just hacks into their communication system, appears in front of them and says, I'm here for Mother's Ether. And when she says she's here for Mother's Ether, she means she's here, she's everywhere, because there are dozens of her drones just scattered throughout the place, ready to invade the church. The thing is that these Joker drones are pretty weak, because Rebecca in base form was able to fight it off, and then when she went into overdrive, she one-shotted it. So I don't really see how, even if there's an army, Joker is even a threat. Unless the numbers are so overwhelming, which I assume they have to be, that she can win. Otherwise, this is going to be a pretty basic fight, as the Eden Zero crew just wipes out dozens upon dozens of fodder. Seriously, its only advantage is that it can slow down time to almost zero for everyone. But all they have to really do is just spread out, and then its range is limited, unless each individual drone can do it. Then I suppose the only person who can fight is Rebecca. That's it. That's literally the only thing that Joker can do to win this, is if each drone has the ability to slow down a pocket of space, to slow down everyone once they're separated. Otherwise, all you have to do is just separate everyone, and, well, even if one person's frozen, everyone else can kick ass. But yeah, if you enjoy this review, please subscribe, give it a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Eden Zero and other main things. Thank you, and have a great day.